live.
All right.
A little bit
Finally
late.
up and going, huh?
A little bit late, but
Finally up
I
and
had
going.
a couple technical difficulties keeping us from going live a little bit sooner. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Todd T. Riley,
I'm Scott Johnston.
And I'm Dee Johnson.
and we are
The Sound Effect.
So, this is our inaugural show. We thank you for tuning in, those of you who are tuning in. We've got a couple of show polls up for you. Make sure that you check those out. We want you to vote on those during the show, and we'll be discussing them later on in the show and make some comments as well, and we'll interact with you throughout the whole thing. And basically, this show is going to be about entertainment and music. We've broken it down into a few different segments, with the very first segment being what we call Music Notes, and that is entertainment and music news, and we'll discuss things that are happening in the entertainment world. After that, in our second section, we will be doing a section called Unseen, and that is going to be local information, things that are going around in the local scene, as well as bands that are unsigned. The third section is where we're really going to get you guys involved, and it's called crowd surfing, and that's where we'll discuss our show polls and the weekly social media poll, which we're going to be doing every week, by the way. After tonight, we're going to put up another one, which we'll be discussing next week, so you'll have all week to vote on that. And then our last and final segment tonight, that segment is called In the Spotlight. That's what we're going to do each week. And tonight we have a special guest with Rob DeLuca from Spread Eagle and UFO, and Sebastian Bach, and we did an interview with him. We'll have part one of that interview later tonight. And today in our local scene, in the unseen section, we have Mr. Wade Black.
Yeah, there he is.
Wade
The
Black
man himself.
Tuesday.
What's going on,
Yeah,
metal,
guys.
my metal minions around the world?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So yesterday
Very
was
cool.
Cyber Monday. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Today is officially Wade Black Tuesday.
Wade
Nice.
Black Tuesday.
Nice. Loving it.
Great. So let's get this sucker started, and let's kick it off with some music news.
Very good, very good. So, what do we have happening? What do we have happening, you know, as far as working on some stuff. I know Todd was working on some things. I mean, as far as this goes, what's cool that's happened? Well, on this day, back in 1962, the Beatles recorded their first BBC radio session in London. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty major thing. You know, I mean, the Beatles have been this huge portion of music history. I mean, just phenomenal thing. And with the British explosion,
Oh,
it goes great with the couches.
It goes with the couches, yeah, for sure.
Camera.
Cool.
And you know, so anything that the Beatles did is just spectacular.
I agree.
You know, they just huge band.
Classic.
Now, also, one of the polls that we were talking about, you were talking about Bohemian Rhapsody, Star is Born. It just so happens that today was when Freddie Mercury was actually laid to rest. This was back in 1991. So that's...
Yeah, it actually fits really perfectly. We didn't even plan it that way. We were trying to find some stuff to go along with today's show, and we discovered that happened. So, you know, sad to lose Freddie Mercury for sure. Probably by far one of the greatest voices in all of music history.
Tragedy and icon for sure.
Yeah, definitely a tragic icon. You know, I mean, other tragic icons, of course, Prince and David Bowie and people like that, Lennon.
Look at. I mean, yeah, even who we've lost here local. You know, David Van Landing.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Laporte.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people. Midnight. Yeah, exactly. Midnight. So many people that we've lost.
And I mean, you know, not to stay in a down note, but I mean,
No.
also things that happened, you know, recently. I mean, Stan Lee, comic book guy. We're never going to see somebody like that again.
Yeah, you'll never see anything like that ever
I
again.
heard the SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
You know what?
Guy
Yeah,
passed
we were
away.
just
What's
going to
that
mention
guy's
that as a
name?
matter of fact.
Steven
So,
Hillenburg.
yeah.
He had
Yeah.
ALS.
So,
That's you know,
sorry,
you can lower,
SpongeBob.
You can lower the flag in Bikini Bottom.
Right.
You know,
They
It was
loved him
interesting.
badly.
It was interesting because he was a biology teacher at the Orange County Marine Institute. He had a degree, and he got a degree in experimental animation, and he did Rocco's Modern Life and Rugrats on Nickelodeon. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
Let's see,
didn't
we're
know any of that
multi-talented.
And I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it kind of makes sense now when you do the biology thing and stuff.
About
You know,
SpongeBob for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, 95 years old. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can't even imagine.
Stanley.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to live that long, but I mean,
He looks great.
boy, I'd be broken.
Yeah, he looked really great for his age. He seemed really active. You know, if you've ever watched any of the Marvel movies, I mean,
Cameoed a lot
his
of them.
cameos were the best.
Well,
you
right, he
know.
was in all of them.
He always
that's
had
right.
these
Too funny.
funny little segments and stuff, little one-liners that he had in each one of those, and it was just great to see that, you know. So definitely a great loss there. You know, I mean, he brought so much
Yeah.
entertainment to the world with all the Marvel movies, and before that, you know, obviously the comic books, and man, just, you know, he's a comic book legend. No
Yep.
question.
And
about that.
you're just not going to have that again. I
Right.
mean, you're just not. I mean, we're now into computer animation, and I mean,
Right,
it's just
right.
it's just not the same. I mean, this is
Yeah, when you
era's-
go back to the
it's-
comics.
it's
Remember
gone,
when
it's
the
gone.
300 movie came out? Remember when they started doing all that kind
Right.
of different kind of artwork stuff in the background and special effects and stuff? So yeah,
I mean, well,
technology.
you know, the other thing too, guys, like on the, was it 15th, I think, this month, that Roy Clark died
Roy
too.
Clark, yeah.
I mean,
If you
and-
Roy Clark and Buck Owens, and if you know anything about that show or what had watched
Oh, we
that
used
show
to
when you
watch
were
it
younger,
growing up.
there's nobody else that was
Picking and
you know
Alva grinning.
Ricky Skaggs and
Oh, yeah.
people like that are in country music that just know their instruments backwards and forwards and stuff. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and I mean,
Roy
multiple
Clark.
instruments too.
Oh, he
you
was
know?
a monster
Right.
guitar
He'll rip
player
your
and
face off.
banjo picker. Just, yeah, absolutely.
He also,
So-
a fun fact is that he also helped the Ozark town of Branson, Missouri, turned it into an entertainment hotspot.
Really?
He was 85
That's
years
really
young.
cool.
But he was pretty old too.
So, you know, going out of a lower area and being a little bit more positive,
little-
we got some birthdays to shout out.
Happy birthday to Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Born on this
Nice.
day in 1942.
1942.
Yeah, like Kiss the
The
Johnny
other one.
Allen Hendrix was his name.
I know.
Yeah.
Johnny Allen Hendrix.
Yeah. Never knew that, actually.
Yeah, you learn
Well-
something new.
So.
So, Eddie Rabbit.
Eddie Rabbit.
You know,
I
I
love
mean,
the rainy night.
yeah, exactly.
Driving
And
my
what
life
else?
Away.
Yeah,
Nice.
My Life Away. That's right.
What was
1941.
And then Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce
You know what?
Lee.
Into the
There's
Dragon.
there's a picture that was going around. You guys probably saw on Facebook where that was really cool. What was it, like Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, and Bruce Lee?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
What the hell were
What
they
a,
doing
what a
together for
coincidence
anyways?
on that too, with the
You
two
know?
of those guys both being born on this day,
Didn't
and that
his
picture is
son-
Morrison
didn't his
sitting
son
next
get
to
shot?
Bruce.
Brandon
as
Lee,
well?
Yeah.
Or
Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee
Yeah.
on the
Wasn't a
set.
blank,
Yeah,
it
he-
was a
he
blank
died.
or something.
Yeah.
They thought it was a blank by a real bullet.
Yeah.
From what
Well,
I
that's
heard.
what I mean.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, they thought it was a
we don't really have to get into that, but come on, that's an accident. They just so happened to
Right.
put a real one in with
Right.
the stage props. I mean,
Brandon was hitting on somebody else's chick and made somebody mad. So they decided to catch him out.
yeah, maybe he knows karate like his dad. And he
Right.
just
You gotta
stood
say, what a
with the
bizarre
teens.
tragedy for that though to happen. I mean, you're talking about Bruce
filming in
dying
the movie.
from, and if I'm correct, he was filming, and then his son does the same thing, the
Right.
same
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
and his son was just taking off when he just started doing The Crow.
I agree.
The Crow would have been what really
Huge.
launched him. You know, that movie was spectacular.
I agree.
Absolutely spectacular. So that's going to tie up our music news and entertainment section on that at the moment. And we're going to get on to the unseen section, and we're going to talk about local stuff, and we're going to interview our man Wade Black, and we've even got a video for you in
Oh,
just a second.
That's cool. Very good, very good.
All right, so this is the unseen section. We're talking about local stuff, and we're going to interview our man Wade Black here. We're going to show you a video of his and his new band, War of Thrones. And what do we got coming up locally? Music shows, concerts.
Let's talk about the bigger ones.
The bigger.
The bigger ones. I mean,
Saxon,
you know,
Saxon's coming.
You know,
I missed that one.
you know, Elton John's
I just
coming
noticed
on.
that today, as a matter of fact. So.
Elton John, I believe, is the 28th. He's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, I mean,
I'd have loved to see him at least one time.
Oh,
Yeah, me too. I would have really loved to seen the one that he did with Billy Joel, where the two of them.
Wow,
Oh,
that would have
yeah.
been
together.
something.
You know what?
That would have been
I
fantastic.
remember that, but not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So now I wanted to go to that show really bad, but there's absolutely no way I'm paying 300 plus.
Absolutely
to see
not. I don't care if
anybody.
they dig Elvis back. I'm not. I'm not. No.
No,
Sorry.
not gonna happen.
Yeah,
not gonna
'cause
happen.
If I did, it'd be like, Elvis, man, let's bust out some Pantera. I want to see what you can do. man."
Right.
You
Shut
know?
it up, kid.
So, well, what else is going on? I mean,
The next big thing.
Next big-
December 1st and 2nd. That's like Young and the Giant, Panic at the Disco style. with the Steel.
Yeah, next big
Have you
thing
seen
from
it?
97X, Best Deal.
Steel.
Yeah.
I think that's his name.
yeah.
Got Barry Manilow.
Oh, for crying out loud, stop it.
Yeah,
Hey, come on, man, it's relative.
Is that the one?
That's
Didn't he
seven.
sing I write the songs to make the
Yeah.
young girls cry and all
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, make the whole
Oh
world
my
sing.
God.
Yeah. Can't smile without you.
guys, now, just, you know,
right.
we touched on Generation X, which, you know,
Oh,
hey, I'm a
yeah.
guitar player, Todd's a guitar
That's
player,
the 11th
you know.
of Ruth X.
All the guitar
Guys.
players will be there. No, I mean they
So-
might pull a little bit, but I mean
It's a musician's
Look, man, it's
jam.
a musician's jam.
so-
What a
Steve
phenomenal
Vai.
lineup.
Yeah, Yngwie Malmsteen, and we're going to talk about that in a second because I
Right.
know there's something that's going to lead into something you can tell us about your deal here. You know, Bentoncourt. I mean, this is just going to be a shredding show, guys. And I mean,
it'll be a
also-
great
it's
show.
not J3.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's going to be
Tossing a-
just every
might
much
as-
as good.
right.
Tossin
Might as well
Abasi is a monster guitar player, man. So
I see him everywhere, man. Whoever's doing his marketing and stuff, and I need it, please give me a call. I need help.
You know, honestly, guys, I mean, when I last saw Steve Vai, is when he was doing, he did his entire Passion and Warfare album.
Yeah, we were at that show together. It
Yeah,
was great.
yeah. As a matter of
Great.
fact, we were.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I mean, I love instrumentals and everything, but this really raised the bar to a level that was
Isn't that
just
funny?
unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
phenomenal.
And to see him not only do it, but do it note for note. I'm going to be honest, guys. I had tears in my eyes.
He's a
And that's
good-
just, it
he's a
was
good
so
player.
Cool, you know.
Who was it? It was Satriani, it was Vai, and it was Yngwie. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
sat through first. I sat through Steve Vai, and then I got the treat of seeing Yngwie. You know, which was
Yeah, he's-
the more technical of the three.
Yeah.
Of course, that's why he was last, because they knew that he was just going to come out shredded up.
Yep,
Right.
Another shredder.
To maybe Yngwie these days maybe is kind of questionable, because I heard that he just took over the vocals.
Yeah, you
So
did.
without a singer,
Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard him
and
sing.
I mean, come on, Yngwie, really? Hire a singer, brother.
A one-man
Come
show.
on, this isn't a one-man show. Stop it.
Look, I
So,
saw that
I
show.
said it.
I saw that show. His keyboardist sang 2 of the songs
Yeah.
and just killed them. He should have been the singer for the whole show
I saw
by far.
I saw
Now,
a very
Yngwie did a good job.
Right, I saw a very special treat one night. It was Jorn Land that actually was singing singing with Yngwie from Ark.
Nice.
And you want to talk about,
Well, I had the opportunity to actually sing with Yngwie once.
really?
I was with 98 Rock, and back when Thoroughbred Music was doing their guitar
Throw Your
shows,
Bread.
and they were doing them over there at the Sam Ash, which is now the Sam Ash anyway. I had a chance to be backstage hanging out with all the different guys when they were going to do their jam at the end of the night. And Yngwie was up there playing, and I was standing right in the front. And he was like, "Come on up here and sing." So we actually sang some Jimi Hendrix, as a matter of
Nice.
fact. So,
Nice.
Speaking of Hendrix.
Well, when I saw Yngwie, and this is a little while ago, a long while ago. Here's this guy, all over stage. I mean, you know, obviously Yngwie's ripping. Back then, I'm trying to think of the singer that they had, because this guy was amazing.
Jeff Scott.
Jeff Scott Soto, possibly.
But
Yeah.
you know what, though? The thing is he had to stand in back. He had to stand. I mean, basically, Yngwie was up front, even though this guy was crushing on vocals.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
back here. And I mean, and what I thought was pretty interesting is the kid next to me went up and took a picture of him. Now, I'm going to date this. This is before cell phones, guys, whatever. But you know what? I mean, he was right there, took his picture, and I felt this wind. Ingve just punched him right in the face.
Oh,
I'm like,
geez.
whoa. I was going to reach out and touch his guitar. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah,
I've heard.
I don't know.
I've heard stories of rants and raves from him, and I'm quite sure that it's true. I mean, you give somebody that pat on the back so much, that he honestly thinks that he is more than what he really is.
Right.
So,
right. Hey, well, one thing I've learned from being in the industry so many years, and if you guys don't know, I've been in this market for 27 years in radio with 98 Rock and 102.5 The Bone, Star 95.7, a little bit on 97X as well. And been in bands. Scott and I were in a band together. Money Shot. We opened up for Godsmack at the USF Sundome. What a thrill that was,
Oh, cool.
One thing I've learned throughout the industry and just being around people is, man, rock stars, entertainment stars, actors, whatever, they're no different than you and me.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
They just got a cooler job, man.
Absolutely not.
Way cooler.
Right. Well, yeah, Wade's World. Party time, essentially. Yeah, I mean, you're only as good as your next show. You're only as good as your next record,
That's
like we were
absolutely
talking
right.
about
Yeah.
before. I mean, I've sang with some pretty big bands. Crimson Glory, Sabotage were two of the biggest bands I've ever gotten signed out of here in
by
Florida
far,
back in the
yeah.
day. Crimson Glory just came up on a 30-year anniversary. It'll be 20 years coming up here since Astronomica was released.
Nice.
Crimson Glory.
Well, nice.
So
Like that.
a little bit of tidbit of that. So, a few things in between. 7 Witches, did 7 weeks over in Europe. Bang Your Head, Annihilator, sold out. Shows here and there, Leatherwolf after that. So, honestly, you kind of try to plan for your future, but you kind of really don't know what it's going to be. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Kind of like
Right,
I wasn't, when I joined these bands, I wasn't set off in my mind to, create just this masterpiece. We do what we do when we create, how we create. So, it was, wasn't like a planned thing. It was kind of like just kind of happened,
Right.
And you grow as you hear more, as you hear different influences and stuff, then you grow as a musician. Of course, what we do as musicians is we create.
Yeah.
And if we're not creating, then, it's stale, it sucks, She'll tell me when I wasn't playing music, she's like, get out of the house, talking about my little ray of sunshine, Jamie Jo over here, my wife, the love of my life, by the way. But yeah, you never guaranteed anything. You could put the best musicians that in a band together. You're not guaranteed that you're going to have, a gel or any kind of success.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of a toss-up. So I was lucky enough that I kind of won the musical lottery a little bit. All of my friends grew up. They got real jobs.
Right.
Me, whether I'm stupid or whether I really like music a lot, probably a little bit of both, but, I stuck it out to where now, 20 years later, there's super cool things, I just got back from Europe. The Ben Jackson, Crimson Glory, was absolutely amazing. We did Belgium shows, went to Germany, took the ferry over, Paris, London,
That's awesome.
played there, drove down to Italy,
3 weeks,
Played-
right?
played Rome, yeah. So we took a 3-week vacation, My boss is like, how long are you going to be gone? And I was like, I don't know. I'll let you know.
It's a cool boss.
Yeah.
I'll let you
Very
know
cool
when I'm ready
boss.
to come back
Right.
to work.
Like, never.
I have had a couple of cool bosses to the point where if you call in sick, you're
Well-
in trouble. But for bands,
Right.
go ahead,
Well,
take the day
that's
off.
That's what it was. It's funny because this guy looks at me like I'm just some sort of dipshit, right? So I bring him my magazine covers and I'm trying to show him all the different CDs that I'm on and this and that. And I show him the magazine covers. He's looking at. He's like, looking at the magazine, looking at me, and he's like, "Wow." He's like, "That's really impressive." And I was like, "Yeah, isn't it?" You know, have a nice day, dipshit. So, too funny.
It happens.
You can never judge the book by its cover.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
And opinions vary. You know, I mean, they do.
They're
I
like,
mean,
they're like, they're like bungholes. Everybody's got one.
well,
So.
you know, guys. I mean, as far as local stuff goes, I mean, yeah. I mean, we're right around the corner for Christmas. I mean, we got what's it? Jingle Ball Rock. Are you familiar with that one a little bit? I mean,
Jingle balls? Are they tying like
that's the
like are they tying like balls to their
No.
balls?
that's the 93 that's the 93.3 Jingle Bell Ball that they
Man,
have
that's
every
an
year.
idea. I think I'm gonna do that. Man,
Wait, I'm
Kinda
gonna
like-
repeat that. Wait, what did you say?
I'm gonna put a jingle ball on my balls.
That's what I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
All right, let's not go there.
At
yeah,
least-
we better change on that particular note. I
On
think
that
we're gonna change
particular
gears.
note,
yeah,
Probably the
we change
biggest band to
gears.
ever come out of Tampa Bay, of course, coming here on the 16th would be Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Nice. Always love them.
Yes, always. They put on a
This is
phenomenal show.
This is our very own here local. This is Mr. John Oliva that has created this Trans-Siberian Orchestra and so on and so forth, that has created this musical international monster.
Yeah.
I have personally known John for probably going on pretty close to about 30 years. And
Yeah, same here.
every once in a while, we'll cross paths, and it's very funny because I'm introducing him to my wife, and it's funny. He brushes me away. He's like, "I'm done talking to you, Black. I want to talk to your wife a little bit."
Oh no.
So,
She's better looking than you
she's
are.
better, yeah.
Well, of course she is. So, but I mean, without John Oliva, without Chris Oliva, God bless you, brother.
Yeah.
Without Matt Laporte, without people that are here local, to do so good on an international level is absolutely amazing. Crossing a lot of boundaries. And Paul O'Neill, R.I.P.
Yeah, for sure.
as
Yeah.
well, because these guys orchestrated and did the unthinkable to where, how many years have they been going now?
It's got to be at least 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is thank you very much, Chris Caffery. Thank you very much, Johnny Lee Middleton.
Absolutely.
Jeff Scott Soto. I know that
Jeff Plate.
Jeff Plate plays in there as well.
Speaking of those guys, we just interviewed Steve Wackles a couple weeks ago. He was in
I
town.
love Steve.
So,
Cool guy, really cool.
we will have that interview
this is
coming up in
Dr.
a couple of
Killdrums.
weeks.
This is Sabotage. This is this is history. This is Tampa Bay history for all of you who don't know. Crimson Glory and Sabotage were two of the biggest bands, and were actually both signed to Atlantic Records. I don't know whether simultaneously, but both bands garnished that label for a bit.
Yeah. Actually, I know that Tampa was always known as the death metal capital of the world. There
know,
was so
that's
many.
crazy.
That, and
so
I have
many
to
major
say
bands
cheers
that
to
came out
Chuck
of this.
Schuldiner and Death. I watched a documentary the other day that brought tears to my eyes, and Richard Christie and all the guys that were involved with that. It was a big death metal scene around here, and it didn't make any difference because it brought people here. It
Oh, yeah.
brought
Yeah.
journalists.
Absolutely.
It brought other people within the business to see maybe,
For sure. Also
the-
had Rock's Gang. They were signed from out of here.
Crotch
and,
Gang.
And you had Juliet. Juliet had done decent
I
there
love
for a little bit.
Julie. I remember those guys. Remember Heartless?
Yeah.
Remember they all had the matching. Remember they all had the matching jackets and shit.
Yeah,
Oh, for
yeah.
Christ's sake, stop it.
Good memories from back of the Rocket Club
Sorry,
days.
you gotta throw the poke out there somewhere, man. I mean,
So let's
I
talk-
think
Surprised you didn't remember it.
Kevin Steele's still out there singing. I think he's got
He
what,
is.
Mojo Gurus.
Mojo Gurus.
Cheers
Oh
to
my
you,
God.
Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to give him some great credit, man. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he's still-
always been pushing it. His brother constantly has always been a huge push for him.
Amen.
You know, really behind him and backing him and just always promoting. And that's what it takes, man.
It's
That's
what you need
gotta
in order
do.
to make it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So some great talent out of this area. So let's talk about your new project, War of Thrones.
Well, War of Thrones.
Yeah, Yngwie's drummer.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do have Patrick Johansson, which did and is on the current album. Yes. The band kind of evolved throughout the years, because it was called Black Rain for a while, and we do little pieces of music, a little bit of Crimson, a little bit of Leatherwolf, this and that, and then we had gotten together and came up with songs that Rick Renstrom and I had been working on for years, and decided to change the name, decided to call it War of Thrones. We've opened up for everybody from Drowning Pool to Mushroom Head to any other bands that you can think of around here locally. You know, you got to try to branch out a little bit, man. You got to try to get out there. You got to try to tour. You got to try to sell your product. You know, that's what you made it for. And it's just hard because sometimes, of course, you come across hurdles that you know, it's your band. You know, it's like you own your house. So if your air conditioner breaks, you have to fix it. So
Sure.
something within the band, it's like a marriage sometimes. You know, I try not to garnish or pat the back on somebody too much, because of course we know what that all leads to. But yeah, really super happy with the outcome of this. We recorded this record at Sweet Spot, Jim Fox, here in town, Largo, Florida, and it's released by Sonic Night Music. It's incredible. I mean, the record's selling like crazy. This would be the first major record that great production. Mauro Applebaum actually mixed this, which is Halford, which is Dickinson, which is all the major players and stuff. You know, you get what you pay for, and we paid Mauro, and he turned in an absolutely stellar product to where now we can proceed, and we can do everything that we set out to do with this record. You know, I'm in the best health of my life this particular time, and honestly think that maybe I'm in kind of like the middle of my career at this particular time. You know, things are flying high, positive, great reviews, 5 out of 5, KNAC Radio, Metal Infinity, 90 out of 100.
Nice.
Like I said, it's my first record that's really actually taken off that I've done in probably 12 years.
Fantastic.
So it's been,
awesome.
it's been
This is the one we're talking about.
correct. War of Thrones.
War of Thrones.
War of Thrones, Tampa Bay, Florida. If you have not heard of this record has the talents of Rick Renstrom, which has played with Rob Rock for a number of years, touring guitar player. If you have not seen Rick, I suggest that you go right now, immediately, and look up Rick Renstrom. If you really want to see a virtuoso
He's a great
of the instrument, a true maestro, Rick Renstrom is the real deal. And I tell you what, guitar players out there, doesn't matter who you are out there, you'll love something that Rick does. So very, very killer, sweet man, killer musician, producer, my right-hand man for a lot of years and stuff, man. So.
Yeah, he tears it up, man. Does a killer job.
Yep.
So, you want to introduce your video there, brother?
Absolutely. This is a video from my band War of Thrones. We recorded this song downtown Tampa, drone videos, all kind of crazy stuff, and we're kind of wondering how it was going to end up turning out. We watched it, we liked it, and hope you like it as well. This is War of Thrones. This is Say What.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
killer, man. That was a really great video, my friend.
So
I
that
love
was War Thrones video, Thomas Crane, Kill Devil Films, here local in
He's
Tampa,
awesome.
knocking down borders, you know, doing great things. A super young guy that's out throwing his talent around, man. You know, it's a great thing that we got hooked up with him.
Yeah, it was a
And,
great video. He did a really good
He's
job.
really
Where was that
professional.
now? It's on top of.
Downtown Tampa.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
think we were maybe 7, 8 stories up.
What parking garage was that?
I can't
You had to get
remember.
all the.
I know you got some
Technical.
great
That's
shots
pretty
of
cool.
downtown though in the
But
background.
the
and
drone,
stuff.
the drone video was super cool. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, and
What I
just-
want to know is, did somebody actually take their car up there and do the donuts so you'd have the circle
Well,
so you guys?
my bass
center-
player was mad because he was running late that day. So he actually took his Blazer up there and did the burnouts and stuff.
Are you serious? I can't believe
So when I get there,
Busted!
It's like the smoke's all coming off his tires and stuff. So yeah, it's just.
Well, it looked killer, man. You guys stuck right in the middle of
That
the
was
circle
killer.
and stuff in the
Too funny.
shot. That was great. That's awesome.
And I have mic now.
Nice.
I have a mic on. You couldn't hear me before I muted it.
Yeah, sometimes when you do a
Muted D.
video like that, you know, you don't know what you're going to end up getting.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing.
for sure.
You're going in the studio. You're trying to do a song. You're trying to get the right groove down, and you know sometimes it goes well. Other times, not
Not
so
so
much.
much.
Not so
yeah.
much.
That was very professional. Really good job.
So
Yeah,
thank you.
it was
High
excellent,
def.
brother. Yeah, you know, I've listened to the CD. It's just some really great stuff from you, my friend.
Nice. I
You know?
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, you spend a lot of time on your craft, and you know, you hope you do a good job. I think that with myself, I'm my own worst enemy, in a
course.
way,
We all
because
are.
when I listen to it, I'm so critical on what it is. You know, is it good? You know, until maybe you get a little bit of feedback from professionals, magazines, this and that, etc., to where you finally figure out, you know, what your body of work, you know, what you created. You know, I almost feel like I'm a vessel to which the spirits come through me and
Right.
you know, help me do what I need to do. So
It's channeled.
nice. I'm channeling.
Channeled.
So,
Channeling
but
metal.
you know, yeah, man. But just music and all, and creating music and trying to go and move into the next level is what we all want to try to do. It's hard out there sometimes, but you know, you can never give up what you love to do, man. Got to keep forging forward.
Great.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, cool, man. Speaking of foraging forward, move forward to the show. We're going to move on to the crowd surfing segment. So this is part of the show where we actually get the viewers interactive and stuff, and we're going to try to get all our fans interactive in the show and make them a part of this show and let them have their say and what they want. And as far as things like see John Greeley there saying "Go Wade."
Nice.
Go Wade.
Nice.
John Greeley.
John.
Yeah.
John was. I
Thanks
start.
for watching, John. Appreciate
Oh, yeah.
it, man.
I
yes.
start. Yeah,
Iced
yeah.
earth.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you very much, John. You know I love you, brother. Metal always, man.
Aw.
Yeah.
And Michelle Weiss said she was aggravated. She forgot to log on earlier.
Man.
I hate it when that happens.
You know what's also kind of interesting is, as I had somebody do my daughter's picture, and it just so happened that the lady that did that work also did some pictures. I believe it was the cover for Iced Earth. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh,
It was
You know?
amazing. That
That's
band, John Schaefer and team Demons and Wizards and so on and so forth. I mean, you know, these guys are musical vehicles, man. I mean, they're driving everywhere to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. So we have the show polls that we had going on. What do we got for the vote? Who's winning out?
What do we got for the vote?
Now, the first show poll that we put out there, two major music movies out right now that are getting all kinds of buzz. Both of them are getting Oscar buzz and everything like that. And that would be A Star Is Born and Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know if you've watched both of those yet or not.
I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
And so we decided to put a poll out there and see what people thought and who they thought was, which show they thought was the best one of the two.
What's it doing? What are they saying?
So
Well,
what's going on?
And that's just the thing. It's like, first thing I thought of, I've had a couple other people comment too, is like, one's rock, one might be country, and this and that. It's really not about that. It's about,
Is it good? Where's the song?
right.
Is it a good
Exactly.
song? Is it good material?
Yeah. And now I have to say, I've seen both movies. They are both absolutely spectacular.
Right. Lady Gaga's incredible.
Oh,
Lady
yeah.
Gaga is such a talent. She's got such an amazing voice,
she was
and
so
she's
down to
a
earth,
really,
no
really
makeup
great
in that
actress
movie.
too.
Everyone
you
wants
know.
to kick her and down her. Leave Lady Gaga alone.
Well,
She's not doing her
interesting-
money. She got more money than you. She's got
Yeah.
a bigger car. She's got a bigger house. So Stop
Exactly.
it.
And then the connection her and Bradley Cooper
Yeah,
had
her and
is
Bradley Cooper
insane.
had a great connection on that. And Bradley Cooper actually did the screenplay for it. He was the one that picked all the people for the movie. He directed it.
His dog Charlie was in
his,
it. That was
his
like
own
his
personal dog
yeah.
is in there that he
His
named after his
doctor.
dad. His
How'd Lady
ear
Gaga?
doctor in there.
How'd Lady Gaga get that gig?
I think
He
didn't
picked
he
it
ask
since
her,
he chose
right?
it.
He picked her,
Yeah. Well, he went with somebody and watched her perform. And after
She
watching
probably
her
picked him.
perform, he chose her and sat and talked with her and sat down with her and
Right.
wanted to see that they had a good rapport before he actually.
He actually came to her house
got her
and they
in
sat down and
the
she
movie.
fixed some like Italian food leftovers
Yeah.
and they played the piano and she was blown away by his voice.
Yeah, they had a good rapport. Okay.
Isn't he married?
Now he actually did. He did the music himself in that. He actually was singing and actually playing
Yeah.
guitar, and he got with Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty cool.
Really,
Really?
worked with Eddie Vedder for I think about 2 years.
Nice.
Up in advance up until that time, and really worked on his music. 'Cause he had never done any singing before. He'd never done any singing before. Never done any playing guitar or anything like that.
It sounds good though.
He was reminding me of Mr. Ed.
And if
that horse.
Horse is a horse, of course.
So with that said, I mean, the poll.
Now
Hey,
you're
if
visualizing
we
that.
did this poll again a month from now, I don't know if
Sorry,
the
Eddie.
reaction's going to be much different. But right now, what we're looking at is a landslide is 80%.
Bohemian Rhapsody all the way.
Which is
Yeah.
what I kind of would imagine, just for the fact that that's really what's being pushed right now. And
It's
and
not so
whatnot.
much of that, though. I honestly think, from a cinematic standpoint, that it's an
Oh, it's
incredible,
amazing.
strong body of work. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
incredible the way the timelines and everything
yeah.
that they did, just at the end where when he was dying. That everybody was like fighting
Spoiler
over
alert.
him, like fighting over him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like his wife and his boyfriend, this and that, and my God, and
Yeah.
just So
It's like the
why
Live
does
Aid
it
concert was like his swan song too.
Right. My
Yeah.
question is, why does it take somebody's ending in order
Right.
for you to realize their greatness when they were here?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right, absolutely.
But the-
It's an unfortunate truth.
Isn't it? Isn't it
Yeah.
sad though? I mean, we're here right now. Today is a gift. You're not promised tomorrow.
Right.
No.
So
No,
this
absolutely
is
not.
what we have to
Right.
deal with
Right.
right now.
Appreciate it
If
now.
you have dreams, you have aspirations or whatever, go out there and follow them.
Yeah, you have only one chance.
Go out there and do your dream, live your
Would you-
dreams.
Go out there and
Did
start a
you know-
show.
Please,
Did you-
please,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. And yes, it's a long, long road,
Did you
and it's
know
going
that
to one person at a time. That's it.
You know, in the Wembley scene, that they actually recreated the whole thing, and they did. Remy Malek did line by line, every motion. He had to have a movement coach. The
Yeah.
false prosthetic teeth he had. You know,
I'm sure.
It's
Not
so
with those
crazy.
teeth, you're not.
And all. He said he couldn't talk. He couldn't like eat or do anything with
I
those
could
things
see
on.
that. That'd
But
be difficult.
but they did everything from Brian May. Every single scene with every musician, it was.
Oh,
Point
talking
for
about
point. That's
Brian
crazy.
May, the guy who played him in the movie.
Oh,
I mean, just
identical.
Like,
identical to.
it was
I was like,
crazy.
wow. The moment
Yeah.
he came on screen, I was like,
I love
I love that.
look at Val Kilmer
Oh,
that
yeah.
did Jim Morrison.
oh,
That's
wow.
what we were talking about. That
You know what's-
too.
spectacular.
What's crazy is I get he had to do all the stuff to get to the part, and what's
looks
crazy is
so
once the
much
show's
like him.
over, he had to go in rehab.
Right? Oh
Yeah.
God.
So he was really doing it the real way, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Not that I would know anything
Talk
about
about
that.
throwing
Into
yourself
the
into your role,
character.
right?
Yeah,
You know,
a little bit
I'm just
too
asking
much.
for a friend.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
asking for a friend. You know, now, just another thing about Star is Born. I mean, the first thing I thought about is, you know, growing up, I'm like, Star is Born, isn't that Barbra Streisand? I'm like,
It
so
is.
this is a
Yeah.
remake. But come to find out, that's not just a remake, this is a remake
Of a
it's
remake.
like the fourth
The
remake.
Yeah.
fourth one, yeah.
What was the first one?
I think it was
Was Audrey Hepburn in the first one?
1941,
Jesus,
if I
Lord.
remember correctly.
See.
I don't recall exactly.
Nobody has an original idea.
The one
I
after
mean,
that was
how
Audrey
many, How
Hepburn
many
and-
Jason movies are you gonna watch?
Oh,
Right.
How many effing times are you gonna see another Halloween? I don't give a crap whether Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back in it or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make
right?
any difference.
See-
You know?
Yeah, they've been
And
doing a
look at all the
lot of
remakes.
remakes of movies
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, where's the original
And
stories?
I mean, yeah, some of it's cool. I mean, you know, you got all this, you know, Disney's doing it big time right now with, you know, Lion King and Aladdin and all these things, and that's cool, but
yeah, well, that's
Come on,
Disney
guys.
redoing
Stop
Disney.
there's
Yeah.
some stuff
You
you
know.
just leave
They want
alone
more
and,
money.
you know,
They're
call it
lucky
a
they
day.
got by with Avatar.
Yeah, right?
I would have to agree
Yeah.
though with the poll that Bohemian Rhapsody is, in my opinion, I've watched them both. They're both spectacular movies, but Bohemian Rhapsody, in my opinion, has to go down as one of the best music
I
movies of
agree.
all time.
I think so.
You know,
It's
I
phenomenal.
think it was just phenomenally done. Like you said, the cinematic aspects of it was just spectacular.
All of it.
Just absolutely spectacular.
Total
So,
true story.
Very
Oh, we
moving.
have some
Very,
other
very
comments too.
Uh-oh.
Well,
All right, what are they
Because
saying?
Michelle said she was aggravated because she forgot to log on earlier. Then she said she'll be there at 8 next Tuesday. But
Awesome.
Chords Owen says, where can we find your music?
You can get it on Amazon, iTunes. Just hit War Thrones, either that or go to Sonic Night Music, and it'll show you the correct way to go, sir.
Very cool. Either that or you could buy it from our website, but it's going to be like $5, $10 more because
Yeah.
I got to make some
Well,
money.
of course, dude, we got to tack on the man and the Fifi and everything else. Yeah.
Speaking of Chords, got to throw a shout out to Chords and thank you so much
Yay,
for
Chords.
awesome.
letting us use the studio
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
bake more pies
Bake more
here.
pies.
It's definitely a great
Please,
place.
Big one.
Great
How can we
people.
sell more pies? What's going on?
It's all
I mean-
about selling more pies.
I mean,
man.
we'll see. I want to get on board.
Well, the actual concept behind it is, with all these different businesses out there, they're a marketing firm, and they have a wonderful studio to do video production. So if you're looking for video production, you need to come here.
Leah, I just saw
place
this.
is
So
awesome.
listen, any local bands, anybody that wants family videos and stuff, green screen, killer studios and stuff, man, come check it out, man.
An
I saw it.
amazing piano.
Yeah.
I mean,
And in fact, this studio we're sitting in right now is available for anybody that wants to do their own live stream show as well, and we have the time for that. But the concept for that is, all these companies that are out there looking to get their piece of the pie. So why not bake more
Make
pies?
your own
Amen.
pie.
and
Own
that's
pie.
and that's what that's
Yeah.
all
That's
about.
awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
You know,
Love it.
the
Brilliant.
other thing I want to talk about is, what we're talking about doing another poll that's going to be, basically music movies. Okay, and the thing is we picked these two. Well, afterwards, we started thinking more, and we got all these different movies. We mentioned The Doors. I mean,
Dude, I love
you got-
Rockstar.
That's
Okay.
what
Well,
we
and
were
that's
talking
just-
about.
I-
too.
Almost
I
Famous.
love the
watched that. I was up drunk. I think it was
Never
like
done that.
4 a.m, for Christ's sakes, and that was the movie that I picked. And I sat and watched the whole thing all the way to the end, man. It's just such a great thing.
Miles Kennedy in the crowd. I know.
Yeah.
Every
Isn't that
word
funny?
for word, dude. I love that.
Well, that's the
Almost
story of
Famous
Judas
and-
Priest.
Yeah, isn't
And,
that funny?
Tim Ripper Owens taking
Yeah.
Halford's
Nice.
place and
Crazy.
stuff. So, yeah. So
I mean-
we did a poll when we started the show. I wasn't able to find it on there, but anyways,
don't know what
what we're
happened.
doing is we're going to pick four movies this week, 4 next week, and 4 the next, and then we're going to break it down. Whoever wins those week is going to go up against Bohemian Rhapsody on the 4th week for the best movie of all time. And so the 4 that we had tonight is Purple Rain,
That's a good
Rockstar,
movie.
Bird, the story of Charlie Parker, and Great Balls of Fire. So make
So-
sure that you go in there and vote for those.
That was
Yeah, and then-
Dennis Quaid, wasn't it?
Yes.
And
And
Yes.
remember he could, because he goes, y'all are just a bunch of dogs snapping at my heels. And I was
Awesome
like,
actor.
oh my God, and I could just imagine this. And this is Jimmy Swaggart's brother, isn't
Cousin.
Or cousin, or
Yeah.
some
Oh yeah, he
I
was
was
wild.
like, what?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me,
Didn't
man.
he date a lot of really young girls? Like,
I know he married his cousin.
He married his cousin.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
14 years old.
okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. Oh my gosh.
That
forgot.
kind of
Yeah.
ended his career there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it damaged him bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't bang your 14-year-old cousin. It's not nice.
Even with her consent, it's
Exactly.
Just
Yeah,
not
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
you
You
know?
got
got
married,
to ask the
so-
dad on something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to have dad's permission.
Weird.
You
So-
that's a dad. That's a death
dead,
wish.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
So with that said, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like a 4-pack of
You're
movies.
such-
We're gonna do a 4-pack. The winner of that 4-pack. Basically, we're gonna do this a few times, and then at the end of the month, we're gonna put all the winners in. See if we
Wait,
can really
will they
define.
win the actual movies? A 4-pack of the movies?
What?
You said a 4-pack of
giving
movies.
stuff away
And I'm
already,
like,
man. We
wait,
haven't
wait,
even gotten
are we
that
gonna
far
buy
yet in
each
the
of
show.
those movies and give it to people? The winners?
Listen,
That's a good
you know,
idea.
And I'm just going to be honest. If we give away something, it's not going to be a 4-pack. It's going to be a 6-pack, or well, it's going to start as probably a 12-pack. But by the time you get it,
Yeah. It'll be more like
you know
a,
what?
a 5-pack.
It'd be like one
You
left.
know what? With that said, I take the whole thing back. You're getting a 4-pack. And you're getting it.
You're going to like it.
You're gonna like it, guaranteed.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to boil down that we're just going to say, okay, out of these, you know, each week you pick this particular one to be the best of the movies that we threw out there. So,
Cool.
which one is by far the best movie of all time? And you know, I think we'll end up with some pretty killer movies to choose from at
Yeah.
that point. You know?
Absolutely,
No question about
absolutely.
it.
There's
Again,
a lot
the ones
out there.
the ones for this week are Purple Rain, Rockstar, Bird, The Story of Charlie Parker, and Great Balls of Fire.
Right, and you'll see that momentarily.
I got to
Where-
personally argue for Purple Rain.
I like that. And the part of the movie that I really like is when Morris Day's sitting there singing Jungle Love, and they kind of do like this electric slide, and he's talking about somebody get me a mirror, you know. He's like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me, man.
Well,
You know,
Jungle Love.
I saw him live, and
Hey.
he does the same thing live in his concerts.
Isn't it
and stuff,
funny?
too? Yeah,
Really?
just spot on for
love
that.
it.
You know.
Now, what's-
Now I got to say, out of all the concerts I've ever seen, I have literally seen hundreds of them. Prince was by far the best concert I've ever been to.
Ever.
By far.
And I mean,
Never.
that's my stomping ground. I mean, you know, St. Louis Park, Minnesota. I mean, those guys used to practice X amount of blocks from us. I mean, you know, the keyboard player, and you know, they went to that high school. So I mean, it's
Isn't that
you know,
funny?
you
See 'em up and
frequently
coming.
see them at the mall.
Right.
You know,
The local dudes.
I mean, I knew
At the
he was a
mall.
short guy
Friends.
because you know I'm a short guy too, but
Right.
I'm towering
Yeah,
over him.
right.
I'm like, wow, you know, he's
Isn't it funny? It's like when,
Small guy.
when Marilyn Manson first came out, we're all kind of looking at him, you know, him and his piercings and stuff, and we don't know whether to beat him up or want to go and meet him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's kind of
right.
like, who is this guy? I don't know whether I like him or not, you know, but
Wasn't he from Miami?
I think he was from Miami,
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Tovar, and people of that nature down that way. But yeah, I think we wanted to beat you up first, Marilyn Manson. Sorry. Freak.
So Alex says, good show. Thank you very much.
Very
Appreciate
cool.
that.
Thanks,
Thank you
Alex.
for the compliment.
Thanks,
Got
Alex.
anything else anybody said in there?
Let's see. Wait a minute.
And I mean, you know, obviously, you know, as a show, we're just getting going. I mean, it's baby steps whether you want them or not. I mean, so
Yeah.
as this builds up, I mean, we're
Trial
gonna
and
get
error.
more people. You know, the more feedback we get from you guys, you know, it's gonna help mold the show to what we want, and you know, and what you guys want too. Because I mean, ultimately, this is your show. I mean, we're here in Tampa Bay, and as much as cool as it is to, you know, to promote local and whatnot. You know, we're definitely on a national level as far as, you know, some of the people that we're going to be talking about. So
Right.
yeah, we may mention, you know, local things going on, but you know,
It's just a segment.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
was not the entire show. It's just a little portion of what you're going to do. And of course, there's numerous
Absolutely.
other topics that you want to get
Exactly.
into, movies, music, you know.
Yeah, and you know, we chose to go with the name the way it is. We didn't want to put rock or metal, even though that's honestly all three of us, our favorite is hard rock and
Sure,
heavy metal.
absolutely.
Right.
You know, but we didn't want to be thrown into a corner and say, you know, we can only do this kind of music. and
Pigeonhole.
Talk
Right, and I
about
mean-
this
He said
kind
if
of
Justin
music.
Go
Bieber,
pigeonhole me.
he said if Justin Bieber wanted to come on the show, we'd let him.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, like,
I know.
just to
honestly,
meet him,
I
you
know,
know.
would you
right?
turn it down if you had an opportunity to do an interview with that man?
No, I wouldn't.
either. I wouldn't
I
either.
wanted
Why
to
not?
do a boy band and girl band
there's-
segment.
I heard that Justin Bieber sold more records than Elvis Presley.
Are you
For
serious?
Christ's sakes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Well,
That's
you know
a pretty
what, though?
amazing feat,
But
man.
think
And I
about
mean-
this. They didn't have the internet back then.
No, that's
you know,
true.
I remember,
That's
you know, going to clubs and it's like, oh, where's your promo pack? It's a copy sheet
Right.
of my set list. And hey, you're hired. That's a lot better set list than the other guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Don't you think we should do a thing on all the like boy bands and girl band things that are people that are making a comeback or whatever we're talking about? They made so much money.
I'm
some of
waiting
those,
for
like One
Marky Mark.
Direction.
I'm waiting for Marky Mark to come back.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
me
With the
too.
that would
funky
be
bunch.
nice.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome.
Oh, God.
That would be awesome.
He's throwing what's his family's hamburger
Right,
stand
right.
thing.
Yeah.
He's-
Wahlburgers.
He's
The
throwing out.
Wahlburgers.
He's throwing out Wahlburgers. People eating Wahlburgers. It's coming to your town soon.
That's
brought
great.
to you by
That's
Wahlburgers.
great. You know,
Exactly.
actually, speaking of him, when he did the Rockstar movie, you know, he said
Oh
that
my
he
gosh.
hated it because he hates metal. He didn't like it at all.
Isn't it funny?
love
Well,
that
so
But
what?
he killed it in the movie,
I
man.
love
thought he did a
the way
great
I love the way
job.
that it was. I love that it had Zach Wilde in it.
Oh,
That
me
it had
too.
Blas Elos from Slaughter
Yeah.
in there as well. I love it when
Bloss is
he
playing
brought
with
in-
TSL, by the way.
Isn't he? Is he?
Yes.
Wow,
okay.
that's
Yes.
awesome. Remember when Mark Wahlberg brought his song ideas in? He's like,
I know,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like,
and he was
they're
like,
like, no.
we brought all the songs, eh?
And they had Jason Bonham
know?
in there and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was great.
So basically, you're telling me that my ideas are nothing. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
In
kind
a
of.
kind of friendly way.
That was a cool movie. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot. so.
Nice. He's going for a piss. The one roadie
yeah.
dude. Then he never went back to his wife and kid. He just fucking.
Oh, I know. Who was that
Went pee
actor?
and-
Who was that actor? The English guy that always said that he went for a
I
piss.
don't
What
remember.
was
I
his
don't.
name?
Oh, I can't
loved
even
him.
remember.
I can't remember
The
his
Roadie,
name.
the
character.
roadie guy. He
Yeah.
told him
Yeah.
when he was leaving, he was like, "Where you
Yeah.
going?" He's like, "I'm going for a piss."
catch you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
you
had
know,
a couple more
great.
comments if you want me to.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
You know what? That's if somebody's going to pipe up online, let's
Absolutely.
jump on it. I mean, this, like I say, this is it's your show, man. It's
Yeah.
your show just as much
What
as
they have to
ours.
say.
Emily
As much.
Rocca said, awesome show. Michelle Weiss said, your studio looks awesome, in all caps, love it. And Joe Callio said, Scotty got that radio voice.
Ah, look at him.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
One of
thank you
my-
very much.
One of my friends that went to high school, Cheryl McGurley Midah, I can't say her name. She said, hi, Dee, great show. Call me crazy, they all do. I love the movie Tommy for the 12-pack of rock movies. Wait,
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's a
See,
12-pack.
now it's a 12
Hang on a second. What?
I was like, what is that supposed to
See,
mean?
you started this,
Now,
so
see, that's
if,
a-
I knew
if
this
it
was
comes
gonna
out of
happen.
anybody's paycheck, it's
fault.
going to come out of your
Yeah.
paycheck first.
Yeah, we got to get
It
paid
was a
first.
4-pack, now it's a 12-pack. Well,
Exactly.
It would be cool.
You
We
started.
might do
You
that,
started it.
Cheryl.
So these are your friends.
And Jessica Beasley said, love the set design, looking good, guys.
Thank you very much.
That's
Very cool.
hilarious.
Worked
Very
very
cool.
hard on it for many days.
You know,
Yeah.
another thing I want to bring up because we're talking about local and this and that. Unsigned bands. I mean, guys, send us your stuff, whether whether
Definitely.
it's email. I mean, obviously you see us on Facebook. Feel free to ask us for
In our
whatever.
website.
Yeah, go to our website. It is the soundeffectshow.com.
Yep.
Soundeffectshow.com. And on there, you got our contact information. You can send us your CDs or you can email us a digital pack of your music in your promo pack and everything
mean-
like that. We'll check it out. If we like it, we'll play some
Yeah,
stuff on the
definitely.
show.
Maybe have you come in
we'll
and
review
play
it
some live.
and
too.
possibly even have you here
Exactly.
in the studio like our man Wade.
No,
Definitely.
So Todd's going to listen to it, and what I'll do is I'll actually listen to it, and I'll have a trash can sitting close by, so your music could be in the trash
You
can.
can make it or break it.
Make it or break it. That's what we do here.
for what it's worth, if your music's that garbage, You
Yeah.
probably won't be on here anyways, but
Yeah.
you know, hey, you know,
we do have a filter.
Don't you like how we did that?
So-
Wade created his own segment. I love it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I segued.
Wade Black Tuesday.
I
Wade Black
Wade
Tuesday.
Black
He
Tuesday.
added
I love it.
he added himself to the
I know.
show.
I love
Nice.
it.
Isn't that
No,
really?
it's
How I
great.
just snake my way in
I
there.
like it. It's
I'm like,
great.
That's all right, man. You're welcome back anytime, brother. It's
Yeah,
great having you
definitely. It was
here.
really nice having you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Having fun. And Jamie too. She's in the background.
You're always welcome
My
to bring the
beautiful
lovely
wife,
wife
Jamie. Yep.
anytime you come, my friend.
Yep.
For sure.
And you know, and with that said, I mean, the capabilities that we have here at the studio, I mean, the sky's the limit. Your imagination's going to be the limit. I mean, we get the right guys in here. This is just one small room compared to what else we got.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
mean, the big studio downstairs. I mean,
Full
yeah, I'd
band.
love to have that, you know, every time. But imagine this up there. I mean, you know, it'd be like a little needle sitting on top of a haystack. I mean, so it's, you know, it's much more comfortable and cozy up
we've
here.
actually got capabilities of live streaming a full band out of the studio downstairs. The place is amazing.
The room is
equipment is top
incredible, man.
notch. Top notch. We have had bands out of there before that we broadcast through Bakemore Pie's Facebook page, and
Look
we've done
at
some shows.
where 98 Rock started, in a little place off
Oh,
of
yeah.
Almerton
Starkey.
or Starkey Road, right?
Right.
So and look at to where they are now.
Yeah.
Clear Channel and this and that, and you know, oh my God, I do another podcast with a guy named Rick Marino.
You
Yeah,
cheaters.
I saw that online.
And Chain and Metal, and we've got so many different kinds of people because I know so many different kinds of people,
Right.
and he knows his kind of people, and it's like, oh my God, so we've gotten together and you know, created this thing to where it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
great.
Speaking of which, you know, I wanted to throw that out there. You make sure you support all the other shows. There's other shows in
Absolutely.
town. You know,
Definitely.
we've got Victor, with
Victor
the
Lima.
beanie guy.
Tampa Bay Music Network.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then there's
what's
the other one,
that?
Tampa Bay Music News.
I mean,
It's
right.
confusing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I mean, not
My
only
man
the-
JC's got his show,
Yep.
Hellraiser's Ball.
Yeah, true.
You know, they're
I mean,
Wade
that's on,
Blackstar
it's
was
on
he and
tonight
Dee.
after.
Right.
They have their
you know, I think at
veteran
like
show. What was
10:30 or
their show
something.
called? Do you remember?
didn't Wade Blackstar Whiskey change his name finally
To what?
to
The Rooster?
to not Wade Black?
I think he calls
I
himself
wrote
the
him-
Rooster.
I wrote
I
him
think
for
he just
so-
calls himself Wade Whiskey.
I
doesn't
wrote
he?
him
Yeah.
for so long, man, and I'm
But he
like,
doesn't
listen, I'm like, brother, there's only one white meat around
That's
here.
hilarious.
Okay, it is me. It's not you. You are not. So, but anyways, Wade Whiskey, love you, brother.
Hey, That's awesome.
Yeah, make sure you tune in and support those guys. Support your local scene. You know,
Heartstrings,
they're all doing
Heroes,
something
Heroes
great.
For Heartstrings.
Yeah.
And stuff that he has. Incredible guy that does a lot for the local biker stuff around
And
here.
the
So yeah.
veterans. Yeah.
And that's just the
Cheers.
thing is, if you're supporting whether it's, you know, the local scene or just, you know, events in general, it doesn't matter, you know, what your show
Fran
is. I mean,
Hosh,
we're all
I
working.
mean, look at what she does.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
we're working
You know,
sort of
look
the
at-
same goal. I mean, you know, it's a common goal, and I mean, you know, obviously here in Florida, we've had some ups and downs. I mean, me personally, I moved down here in 2000. I know I missed a lot of cool stuff,
You
a
did.
lot of good clubs that
You
He,
did.
he
are
got
no
here
longer
right when
here anymore.
everything was kind of fizzling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But now,
unfortunately.
but now, what the great thing about it is it's coming back.
Right,
You know,
right.
let's make metal great again.
Well,
Definitely.
that's definitely going to happen.
You know?
That's definitely going to happen.
And you know, and the beauty of the internet with shows like this is the capabilities of being able to reach the world.
Right.
You know, and you couldn't do that.
You couldn't do that
several years
before.
ago.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You know, and people like yourselves have an opportunity to reach a whole nother market. And I know you, having been in bands like Crimson Glory, for example, played in Europe and have
Mm-hmm.
fans over in Europe and everything, you have a way of being able to reach those fans,
Yeah,
and we can
true.
reach those fans for you. You know,
Yep.
because you can watch literally anywhere in the world.
Sure.
And
That's
that's a
what's so cool
spectacular
about it.
thing. It's really a great thing. So.
And I mean, you know, yeah, that metal show is really cool. I mean, obviously, you know, and for whatever reason why they were taken off the air, I'm assuming it has to do with money and a few other things behind the scenes. But you know, this isn't that metal show. That's not what we're going to try to do. I mean, if we wanted to get, you know, guest guitarists and stuff like that in here, yeah, we can definitely do it. But I mean, it's. You know,
And we
it just depends
will.
what's going on.
We
you know?
will. You know, we've actually got a little section that you don't see yet because we don't have another camera on that part. And Wade's wife's sitting over there. at the moment,
In the
enjoying the
fan
show
section.
tonight in the fan section. And we got a small little stage
You're like-
set up over there where we're going to have bands coming in and they're going to perform and do some acoustic stuff. We will have bands, down the road that will do full-on bands downstairs as well and do some things. In fact, this last segment of the show, which we call In the Spotlight, we're going to be spotlighting my friend Rob DeLuca, who was the bass player from
Cool guy.
Spread Eagle, UFO, and Sebastian
Can't
Bach.
believe he was in UFO.
I know, right?
I saw some old footage
Still in
of
UFO,
Shankar
Yeah.
UFO.
the other night that Jamie and I actually watched it. And he was like a baby. He was like 18, 19 years old when he was in UFO, for Christ's sakes. And I mean,
Yeah.
I was stunned. I was
Wow.
stunned.
The cool
Very
thing with
cool guy,
Rob
too.
is with Spread Eagle, when we were talking to him, Spread Eagle's putting out a new album in
Really?
2019.
Nice.
And he promised us that he will drag Ray in here and they will do an acoustic set in the studio.
That's going to be fun.
Awesome.
That's
Wow.
going to
That's
be a
gonna be
cool
real fun.
thing.
Wow.
So that's something we've got coming up in the near future.
Where's this
You know.
picture? Where's this picture?
I actually left it at home.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
your homework, and you
No,
didn't.
he had a
An
little
autograph.
picture of Rob.
I
He
got a-
had-
I got
a
it was
signed
signed, and
photo
he
of
was like,
Rob.
"Hi,
Oh,
Rob."
I can't believe you don't have it sitting right here.
I know.
You're
I
really
meant to bring that with me, but I put it
slacking.
back on my wall and I completely
Cagging.
forgot it after
See,
I left. So
Rob, it's just too precious. We couldn't leave it here. I mean, I don't want anybody to
we
take
do have the
it.
drum head signed
Yeah.
by Steve Waffles,
Yeah.
though.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Doc Waffles
Reverend.
signed that for us when
You know,
we did
and
our
with,
interview.
with that said, I mean, we're going to do this interview. It's a two-part interview actually with Rob. We're obviously going to do the first half tonight. We're going to do the next half on Tuesday, and then that's our show, a little teaser, what we got started, so you guys have an idea what's where we're going and what we're doing. We're going to take a couple weeks off the rest of the holidays. Everybody can have a great Merry Christmas, and we'll be back after the first of the year. With that said, I mean, I checked the calendar. I think the first this year is on a Monday. Is that the?
It's Tuesday
It is
because we're taking it off.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
So it's Christmas.
well,
So we're taking that Christmas and we're taking New Year's Day off, and we'll be back
This
right
year's
after
flown
that.
by.
Now, obviously, with some
It
of the
was
things
just
I've done
January yesterday. What happened?
in the background, it's I've been the low man on the totem pole before many times, where I've had to work Christmas and all that fun stuff. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know what I thought was funny in the comment about you and the radio voice is that's exactly what Rob said to us.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to
funny?
go do the interview, Rob's like,
I
"You're the,
said
you're the
one
radio
word.
guy and you got the
Yeah.
voice."
I literally just introduced myself. Didn't even have one sentence out hardly, and he's like, "Oh wow!" It's like,
Yeah,
Right.
You need
because
to
I
do
know Rob.
voiceovers.
I know Rob from when I worked at 98 Rock,
Isn't that funny?
and the
You're
Rocket
listening
Club.
to
so.
101, the sound effect.
Nice.
So let's get this thing rolling here
All
with
right.
the in the spotlight.
very cool.
So this is the segment we're going to do each week where we're going to do interviews with national artists and focus on that and the people who are out there in the spotlight. It's not just going to be musicians. We're going to try to get some movie stars in here as well if we can.
Comedians.
And comedians and people
Artie
that are
Fletcher.
people that are really well known.
better get him
as a
while he's
matter of
still
fact,
alive.
We'll get
Absolutely.
Artie.
Get him while he's still
We'll
alive.
drag
'cause
Artie in
he's
here
getting
for
old.
sure.
Is
You
it?
know.
It was funny. He had written a book just recently.
Yeah, I have that.
And he's on stage. He's doing a skit, and he goes, "Hey, who out there's got my book?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got it. I used it to start my barbecue yesterday."
Oh, yep.
That's
He's
That's
like, "You
great.
son of a-"
That's funny.
Artie Fletcher.
That's too funny. Yeah, so like I said, we got part 1 of Rob DeLuca coming up in just a couple of seconds here, and we got part 2 next week. Right after that, we've got Steve Doc Wackles from Sabotage and Reverence, and that's a great interview that we did with him over at the Sam Ash K-Pop Tree over in McMullen Booth, and thank you to them for giving us the opportunity to meet him there and do the interview there. That if you've never been to that music store, you really have to check it out. Even if you don't play music, it's
not
the
just
coolest music store ever.
This is,
It's
listen,
not just about
I'll tell you a
the instruments of the
quick,
building.
I'll tell you a quick
Awesome.
story about this. The K-pop Tree has been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, it was a restaurant.
I have
originally.
lived here for 45 years, and I used to go to the K-pop Tree to eat dinner when I was 4, 5 years old, like years and years and years
Yeah,
and
you
years,
know
What
what?
were
years
those
ago.
little things they had? The little powdered sugar like donuts, and they have like. Do you remember that? That was one of
Oh,
their
I
big.
have
I don't know
no
if it
idea.
had corn in it or
Custards and-
something.
It
It was
could have
weird,
been.
but-
But anyways,
I do believe you're the only one I've met that's actually said they've actually been there when it was a restaurant.
I
was
did,
there.
I did
I
too.
remember
Wow.
because I had a straw, and it was funny because I had Coke in it. Me and my brother were flipping at each other, and somehow I flipped the straw and it flipped on the guy
Oh,
next
Uh-oh.
door.
No.
So the guy tells my dad, he goes, "You better get your kids under control."
Let's talk about
And
soda Coke.
I think my dad told him that if you want to finish your dinner with all of your teeth, you'd probably turn around and sit down and shut up.
Oh my
That
God.
was what ended up happening there.
Memories of K-pop Tree at its
Exactly.
finest.
That's great. I loved it when it was thoroughbred, man. All the guitars that they had hanging up around the place. It's
Amazing.
the
If you were to see the grand
coolest collection
ballroom
of guitars.
and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
stuff in the gardens, because if you
Oh,
see
yeah.
it now, it's kind of a little
Yeah, it's not what it
dilapidated.
used
It's
to
not
be.
what it used to be.
It's
But
still
in
nice. I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
it's
really
very
But they
It's
charge you a
beautiful.
fortune
Right,
to take
in
pictures.
its grandeur, it was beautiful.
Yes.
And there are some parts of the year to where this tree, what's the word, exfoliates it makes it glow. It's
Yeah.
called the
Oh.
K-pop tree.
Well,
Oh, that's
that's
pretty
the
cool.
Some
point of
nights
it.
in the
Oh.
dark, the sap or something makes the tree glow.
That's
wow.
awesome.
Like
That's
glow in the
amazing.
dark?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
like-
Actually, we took our
That's what I was
our
gonna say.
promo pictures there.
Yeah, I mean, like in the courtyard, we got a couple pictures there, and before we got kicked out. Hey, you can't have us do it for free and then charge the next guy $500.
That's
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
but-
Like, we'd be like,
We
why don't
respect that.
stop it? You just had 2 wedding people, and they probably paid you, 10 grand
And the
between the
rent
2
on
of them.
that place
Stop it.
alone
Yeah,
is
yeah.
probably
I can't get
insane.
something. I can't get a couple. You can't throw me a bone.
They said because it was professional camera.
Yeah, that's all right though. They let us do some stuff in there. We appreciate that. So
No,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's
good-
cool.
I think
a
it's
good
just
thing.
the man trying to hold you down.
Yeah, that
Always.
could be, and
You know,
that's
and
just the way it is.
Always.
if I find out where that man lives, then you and I are gonna be having a talk.
Well, Wade, my brother, thank you so much for coming in
I
and being a
appreciate
part
you
of our
guys,
very
man.
first
I
show.
appreciate it.
We really
Yeah, definitely,
appreciate you
it's
being
been
here.
fun.
I honestly think that you guys have a great thing going
Oh,
on
thank
here.
Thank you very
you.
much.
I think that the more energy and the more effort that you put into it, the better it's going to be.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And the more it's going to grow, and so on and so forth.
It's a work in progress, brother.
yeah.
And people
It's like-
comment too. Let us know what you think about it, even
Please.
if it's when we're offline.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your feedback is invited. I mean,
Absolutely.
good, bad, or indifferent. I
Absolutely.
mean, if there's
Right.
something we're doing, that you really like, let us know. We make sure that we keep doing that.
And that's fine. Hey.
And like our
if there's
YouTube page.
if there's something that we're not doing right, we have a complaint department for that. And you'll just get shipped to that, and then we'll eventually get back in touch with you.
But
So
your
thank you very
complaints
much
might
for
go
your
in the
comment.
trash can.
Yep.
Yeah. Or it might go in the trash can, so you never know.
Along with the CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in case you guys need that number, that's 1-800. What is it? Ask Wade, right?
1-800 F off.
No,
Don't forget.
no. We leave that
We
one.
want people
Sorry.
to. We
So-
want people to subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
Yes, absolutely.
Are
know
all these
what?
going
That's-
to be on YouTube?
here's-
Then they can
Yeah,
watch them again.
Yeah,
even
our
go on this-
replays will all end up on our
Okay.
YouTube page. Go to thesoundeffectshow.com. That's our website.
A.
And you will find every single one of the links to all of our social media on there, our YouTube page, our Vimeo page. The replays will be on both of those. You can connect with our Facebook page, both of them. You can connect, so add us as a friend, like us. subscribe to us, and you can also check us out on Twitter as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, starting out on YouTube, you know, it's hard to promote something where you're like, yeah, you go to YouTube, you know, .com/14 capital A lowercase y, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is we're baby steps, but we need to get it. We need to get 100 subscribers.
We need
just
more
so
subscribers so that we can get the name, the Sound Effects Show. on
It's a
YouTube.
lot easier.
So,
that way, we're, you know, because to be honest with you guys, I mean, I even had trouble finding it at first.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, where we're at right now as a show can only get better from here. I can promise you that.
There's a lot of
Promise you that.
groundwork. Thanks to Todd.
Yeah.
He's been
Yeah.
busting
Send
his
me
butt.
links.
He has been busting.
You know, I'm
his
more
butt.
than happy to share with all the outlets that I have. You
Very
know,
cool.
Appreciate it,
So,
brother.
what little that I can bring to the table and stuff, and I'm more than
No,
glad
it's
to give you
awesome.
guys. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Very
Appreciate
cool.
that.
Well, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Our interview with Rob DeLuca. It was just a really, really great time. It was
Awesome
awesome
guy,
to
too.
see Rob again. I hadn't actually sat down with Rob like that in probably a good 20 years. You know, we used to hang out all the time back in the day, as he mentions in the interview, and it was a really good time.
Yeah.
And Rob's a spectacular guy.
Very cool.
Just
What's he
super
doing
nice.
these days?
He's touring with Sebastian Bach right now.
That's what we were down in
And
Sarasota.
that's what we were
checking
down
out.
there for the show. And he's doing Spread Eagle, new album they got coming out this next year. And he's still on tour with UFO. In fact, UFO is doing
Jesus
their
Christ.
50-year
He is
anniversary.
busy,
And-
They're
dude.
doing their
I-
50-year
Busy
anniversary
dude.
I
this
am
year.
so jealous.
Andy has his own stuff where he
Who
sings.
plays in UFO these days?
That's a good
Vinnie
question.
Moore.
Vinnie
on
Moore.
Vinnie Moore?
guitar.
All right,
Yes,
for
that's what he
Shankar, huh?
said. Yeah,
Is that a good trade?
I would say so. Vinnie Moore is a spectacular
I would
guitar
think so.
player.
I would think so.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But also, Rob DeLuca has a solo thing where he sings.
Right,
and it's
right.
called
What was
Of
the-
Earth.
Of Earth. That's correct. Yeah.
Does
Of
he
Earth.
sing good?
I actually have not heard it, unfortunately.
I've heard some
so.
of it. It's and plays
I need
the
to
bass is different.
send it to me, and
I don't think
I'll
he
tell
does
you
the
what I think.
high.
I'll
He
give you
doesn't
my
do the
honest
high notes like you.
opinion
It's supposed to be a little what psychedelic.
But nobody does the high notes like
I know.
Wade.
No, it's just, and, you know, I didn't realize it, but yeah, he's that psychedelic music, and
Yeah,
it's,
Yeah,
it's a
psychedelic.
little
more
bit
of a-
different than some of the other
It's a
stuff
big
he's doing.
influence
We
of
just-
Pink
you know,
Floyd
we
on
just
that.
saw Enough's Enough.
Oh,
So you
God.
want to
Nice.
talk about psychedelic music and
Yeah,
this and
yeah.
that. And what was funny was he goes, there was Motley Crue, there was Aerosmith, and there was Enough's Enough. You know, with #1 songs. You know, this thing. What was it?
Fly High,
on
Michelle.
a New Thing. High on a New Thing.
Yeah, fly
I used to
high,
have
Michelle.
some promo albums
Michelle.
from them, as a matter of fact, where you got like the record, which is literally like one song,
Right.
and then the other side of it is like not even mastered or whatever. I mean, it's
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, I got a signed promo thing
Joey's
from them,
over there. She's
along with all my
she's
other
like
stuff.
she's all fangirled out, going over trying to get his autograph and this and that. And it was pretty cool.
You'd love my collection. I got a huge collection from the years in
My-
radio.
Come
in fact,
over and-
this
come
guitar
over-
right.
Come
This
over
guitar
to my
right.
house. I'll show you my amazing, huge catalog of albums.
Yeah, that's awesome. This,
Well, yeah, I mean-
this guitar right here happens to be signed by Don Dokken and George Lynch
Nice.
when I introduced them at Livestock.
Nice. I met George when we were out at NAMM.
Cool.
And I happened to mention Leatherwolf, and I happened to mention Crimson Glory, and he's like, man, he's like,
Computer
well, you're
just
bringing
go-
out
my
the
computer just went off.
OGs.
yeah, right.
You know. But he knew both of them.
Very cool.
You know what? And speaking of that, as a matter of fact, when we were discussing with Rob, and as part of the interview, Rob had played with George for a while.
Oh, did he?
And
Yeah.
then it happened to be how he met up with Sebastian Bach and got involved in Sebastian Bach. So
Isn't
let's
that
go
funny?
ahead and play the interview, and you guys can hear all about it from
Very
Rob's
cool.
lips himself. And we'll be back shortly after this to close out the show. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Very
And
cool.
here it is, Rob DeLuca. So we're on the road with the Sound Effect, and we're down here in Sarasota with Rob DeLuca of Spread Eagle, also known for his work with UFO, and he is currently on tour with Sebastian Bach, and we're here to see him tonight. Rob, thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. How you doing, Todd?
I'm doing really good, man. It's really good to see you. It's been, what, We've known each other 26 years, 27 years, somewhere around there.
I think a little longer, and we've only seen each other once in all that time since we used to hang out.
Yeah, last year, as a matter of fact, when you were with Sebastian and in town, I was looking up on stage and I'm going, man, does that ever look like Rob? And sure enough, it was. And I was really glad it was, because it was really good to connect with you again.
Yeah,
it had been such a long time and stuff. But man, I remember some good times back at Livestock with 98 Rock and playing at ML Chasers and the Rocket Club and everything. We used to hang out all the time back then and stuff. So that was a lot of good times. So, so what have you been doing with yourself lately?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm in Sarasota today. We're with Sebastian Bach. We're on tour across U.S. and Canada, and it's been a long tour, 7 weeks. And tomorrow we go to Dominican Republic for a show.
Nice.
So it's been a long tour, and it's been a really good tour. So we're having some fun. I'm kicking ass, lots of big crowds. So
Nice.
it's good. It's going to be a lot of people here tonight.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. You're going to rock the country bar, right?
Yeah. But it's a cool place. It's like open. You can see from the sides, and I like it,
Cool. Yeah, I like different venues like that. That's probably a cool thing, seeing a bunch of different places as you're out there and on the road and stuff. So
they're all different. They all sound different, reflective surfaces, and how the sounds, how it sounds on stage. It's always very different each night. Each night it's very different.
yeah, absolutely. You want to ask him questions, Scott?
Sure, absolutely.
Hey, Scott.
How you doing? How you doing, Rob?
Good.
Say, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, I mean, you started playing when you're 15. And
Yeah, which is kind of late in this day and age, because we didn't have YouTube and all that. Where now there was a kid there last night in Orlando, and he must have been about 8, and he was, he had videos of him playing. I couldn't really see him because there was a lot of people, but
Nice.
these kids learn pretty early. So I think it's kind of late at 15.
Yeah, well, in that day and age, but I mean, there wasn't the internet or anything like that. I mean, you actually started playing on bass, though.
No.
Or wait, no, you started playing on guitar.
Yes.
That's right. You
Yes.
started playing on guitar. What
And-
made you progress from playing?
Just necessity. I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston for guitar, and I was hanging out with these guys in this band, and they needed a bass player, and I figured I would do it just to have some fun. But I really fell in love with the instrument because it's its own place in the band,
Right,
and
right.
I wasn't really that familiar with it, like being a kid and being into guitar. I was always listening to the vocals and the guitar, so I didn't
Right.
really even pay that much mind to bass until that point. And then when I started playing, I was like playing just like a guitar player, and then my ears started opening up to that frequency, because really when I listened to records, I didn't really listen to that part that much,
Right,
I'd always
right.
be listening to the vocals and the guitar, and sometimes the drums, but not even the drums that much. And then when I started to just explore it, I fell in love with the whole concept of where the bass lies in the band and its function, and I didn't want to go back, So.
Very cool. Now, you mentioned vocals. Well, you sing too. So I mean, have you always been singing?
I've always tried to sing. Yeah, I enjoy singing a lot. So, and I think it's another instrument. Like if you're just playing, you're making music with one instrument, and if you can sing, that's 2 instruments you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it makes you more chordal. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like you're making more music. So therefore you can be more creative because you can, it's 2 notes you're adding instead of just one.
Right.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, so with that band, was that Bang that you're referring to?
It was.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know you went to Berklee. That's awesome,
Yeah,
brother.
I did. I went for a few years. It was really a great learning experience. I was just a rock and roll kid,
Right.
and from not a huge city, I came from Wilmington, Delaware, and I got there, and it was all like first chair jazz band in high school, like all kids who were like
Right,
first
right.
chair jazz, second chair jazz, reading music
Really
and
intricate stuff.
just it's just the whole level of their abilities, not as much playing, but like understanding theory, harmony, reading music. I didn't know how to do hardly any of that. I did know how to do some of it. That's how I got in. But I knew the fretboard really well. That's what I showed them. I sent them audition tapes.
Cool.
And I studied with a guy named Ron Dinest, and he had gotten a kid in Berkeley with a method he was teaching. I was guitar, obviously.
Right.
And it was all about knowing the fretboard, So there was still a lot of things I didn't know. I wasn't a great reader, I didn't understand harmony that much, even though I understood chords really well. So I got in, and I've realized there's a lot of people who know a lot about music at a very young age,
really
and I was like,
really
whoa.
is.
So that was a real important moment for me, or moments of the years realizing this and thinking about it, because that's your competition, like, without sounding too competitive, like, all these people are going to be trying to get gigs, and so I realized I had to get very, very serious about music. I always loved it 100% as serious as you can be, but I didn't know how to practice. Like, you learn things, you learn how to practice, how to be more efficient, and like I said, you learn things about harmony and theory. So I just realized I had to work really hard, and I started working a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't want to work hard before that. I just didn't know that. Like when you learn something, you don't know it until you learn it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I thought I was doing good, and then I realized I got to work harder, and then I started on that path. Started working with a metronome every day and reading music, which I haven't done in a while, but I needed to do it in school, and so I did it a lot. And I enjoyed it there. But I think the two biggest lessons I learned at Berkeley was ear training and how serious you have to be.
Right, for sure. So was that with Paul and Tommy? Because I read that it was with that band, Bang, that you finally met Ray, and then Spread Eagle was formed from that.
Close. That's close to the story. Paul was already out of Berkeley. He had either graduated or he had left, I'm not sure. And Tommy didn't go to Berkeley, but they were both living there. And the short story is, the band broke up. Paul moved with his girlfriend to New York, found Ray, joined Ray's band, met Ray, joined Ray's band at the time. That didn't work out. This was all within a pretty short period of time. And he called me, and we went down and formed Spread Eagle.
Nice. I don't think I've ever told you, but Spread Eagle is by far, your two albums are two of my all-time top 10 albums, and you guys were always by far one of my top 10 favorite bands of all time stuff, so it's pretty great. And
we
it's also great that you were
really well, and we hung out a lot, so it was nice that we had that
really
bond.
awesome, so.
You guys were 98 Rock. You guys were really supporting us, and we appreciated that. So we came down and did Livestock a couple times, and so it was just a good feeling of you guys. You were like family to us, and with our management too. I remember they were really close with you.
Yeah, your management was awesome.
Charlie
They were always,
Gambetta.
he was always so cool to me when you guys would come into town, and that was fantastic. So all you guys were really great to me, and I always appreciated that, and
my
we
pleasure.
always got along really great. So.
Likewise.
My wife actually has a ringtone through these eyes.
Wow.
And I hear it for an alarm. I hear it every day. I mean, actually, she wanted to be here. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. But that's true. I mean, it's a great song. Great song.
Thank you.
What influence do you have in that? I mean, what involvement do you have in that? I mean, I love that.
In that meaning.
Like the song "Through These Eyes," it's a great tune. It's got a lot of feel, a lot of emotion in it.
Well, we're all writers, but that particular song, like if certain songs I won't have as much to talk about, but that particular song I was very involved in. I wrote the lyrics and the vocal melodies.
Oh, cool,
Really?
cool, and that's
Paul,
one of the big things, part of the song. I mean,
Thank
you listen to it. I mean, it's
you.
awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, we're all very creative guys. Paul wrote the music to that. Like Ray wrote "Scratch Like a Cat," like before, like that was one of the demo songs, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing,
Yeah.
and a great writer too, because that was a really crafty song. So Ray and Paul wrote that. So yeah, we're all pretty creative, and but Through These Eyes is a pretty special song.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, so now you got all this. How did Sebastian Bach, that's when that came into play, right? Right. How did you get
around
involved
then?
there?
Yeah, he liked the band,
Okay.
and he would say nice things about us in the press, which was really appreciated because we needed all the help we can get.
Yeah,
Every
of
band
course.
does.
Sure,
It's a
absolutely.
great compliment from someone like
Yeah,
that, too.
and he was on top at that point. There was just him and Vince Neil and Axl and Bret Michaels. They were the big names of the genre, and a few others. But I'm just saying he was within that elite group. So he was saying nice things. He came down and sung with us when we played near his house in Jersey, which was cool. So we respected each other, and in the early 2000s, we got in touch with each other, and he had mentioned he's going to need a bass player soon.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
My first gig was 13 years ago. In 2 days, it'll be 13 years to the day.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
November
Very cool.
5th, I think, was our first show in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you were with Sebastian Bach, and you were touring around with it was Helmet. Helmet, and you guys were opening up for Guns N' Roses. As a matter of fact, I heard a story, something about the Canadian tour. Their bass player couldn't do it. So what did you end up doing? Tell us about that. It's cool.
I ended up playing in both support bands on the Guns N' Roses Canadian tour, maybe 2009, or I'm not sure, right around there, 2009, 2010, because the bass player had some prior legal issues and they wouldn't let him into Canada. So it was
And you found out when that he couldn't get over?
about 4 o'clock in the afternoon for their 8 o'clock set.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So what'd you do?
So I learned the songs, man. I went to work.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty impressive, man. It really shows me how dedicated you are as a musician and how committed you are to your craft.
I was also very committed to the tour. Like the band before them, the Eagles of Death Metal, they got kicked off the tour after one show, and they were saying some really horrible things in the press about Axl and Sebastian. And even though it's a very successful tour, Guns N' Roses is obviously a very successful tour.
Right.
There was this dark cloud that all of a sudden was over it, just very temporarily, because they didn't work out. Then they were talking shit in the press, which was, I felt, I don't know them, but I felt it was very unprofessional. Some tours don't work out, and sometimes it's just style. It's not about ability, talent. You have to just be man enough to accept that aspect of the business. Everything doesn't work out for any of us.
Right.
So I thought it was very petty that they were acting like that, and all of a sudden there was this weird feeling like, the talk about the tour was for a couple of days really negative, and in that regard. And then Helmet came on, and this was their first show. So I was like, all right, we don't want more problems. So I was very,
Instead of getting another opening act.
or just
You're like,
more just
That's cool.
negative press, So,
The darn Border Patrol, man.
Yeah. So I just took it really seriously, and it was fun. And
Yeah, that's very cool, man. Definitely opened up an opportunity for you.
yeah, it was. I love Helmet. It's totally different style.
Yeah, they're great.
But I've played that style
Very cool.
in bands in the past, and I've been in bands that have been influenced by Helmet and by those type of bands. So.
Very cool. Yeah,
Very cool.
We're back.
Very cool.
So that was Rob DeLuca, and part one for the interview that we had with him. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Next week we will have part two for you. And Rob's just, as you can see, just a really, really great guy. Just
Very
real
cool.
easygoing, real nice
I
guy.
mean, that interview could have went for hours and hours and hours.
I still
It
can't
was
get
an
apart.
actual thing.
I can't get over the UFO part. That just to me is just earth shattering.
Wild.
Like my mind just blew.
So with that said, I mean, There's a couple other things, I'd like to ask you before we say goodbye to everybody.
Sure.
Obviously you've played tons of gigs, tons of venues, not just, here stateside, but overseas as well. So, I mean, with that said, what would you say was probably one of your best venues or best gigs for that matter you ever played?
It would have to be La Locomotive. This would be in Paris. It was right next to the Moulin Rouge. Sold out. Date with the Annihilator and Seven Witches. Incredible. I was introduced and the crowd went crazy, and we proceeded to smack them around for about an hour or so.
Very cool.
That's
very
awesome.
cool.
So on that note, what was the worst you've ever played? What was the absolute worst venue or show that you've ever
I'm
played?
gonna have to say it'd probably have to be the Old Brass Mug.
Oh no.
Because golly, that place just smelled like urine and
Ew.
beer. If you were to ever go there in the middle of the afternoon to load your stuff in, it was horrible.
The lights on, you
couldn't
were terrified.
Oh
Don't
my
touch
God,
anything.
yeah. Not even the roaches went in there.
I heard that kind of about CBGBs is like that too.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah.
Just the coolest places, man, are just such the crap hole.
Right?
So, I mean, I guess on another note, I mean, you've been playing music for a long time.
Long time.
I mean, do you remember when you started? I mean, do you?
I had started singing when I was in the 3rd grade, actually, and had went from chorus from 3rd grade all the way until about 7th grade, where I started getting into the girls and this and that, and kind of stopped singing so much. But yeah, I mean, I've always sang all my life, So
You play any other instruments, or
no,
is it just vocals?
no other instruments, just
Well,
singing.
So what kind of influences? I mean, what got you going?
I love Lou Graham. I love Bruce
Fantastic.
Dickinson,
I wouldn't have-
Halford. I mean, there's so many other aspects and people that you listen to over your career that actually kind of form you into into what you are today. I love Dio. I mean, there's any number of. I love the Blind Melon singer. I can't
Oh,
remember
gosh.
his name.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
to me, these are just true aspirations.
Yeah.
To this the new Atreyu record to me is absolutely. When you listen to these songs, they're so well crafted and there's so much beauty
Who is that again?
that's within this Atreyu.
Atreyu, I'm not familiar with that.
Right, but that's
Is it
Check them out.
but just
Are they
but the way I'm so
a
moved
metal seed?
at this particular time with the song writing. It's so well manicured. It's so just pinpoint, surgical strike on these songs, and it's like they play the most beautiful thing, and then this singer Alex will come out and just rip your face off. And I love stuff like that, man. This is this is the art that we do. Put the time into it and make it the best that you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, on that note, excuse me.
Live television. There's no
Right,
excuse for me, but you can have one.
If you were to put together the ultimate band of, your super group,
Right.
who would you perform with? If you could
Alive
perform with
and-
any,
and-
alive or dead.
or dead. Live or dead.
So
I
pick,
want. I'm calling Vinnie Paul
Aw,
Very
for
cool.
drums.
nice.
be some
I'm
serious
calling Dimebag
Aw,
man.
nice.
Don't
for
blame me on
guitar,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I'm calling my bass player Rich Marks.
Aw.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool,
Aw,
man.
he
So
really
this
wants
is
Very
that.
this
cool.
is my all-time favorite band that I would love to have together, and we would churn out metal like it was a factory.
What about if you ever wanted somebody, a vocalist to sing with, an extra vocalist? Did you ever
Another
think about
vocalist to
that, who you
sing
would
with,
like?
really?
Yeah. Had a twist to it. A female
I like,
or male or?
God, I'd probably have to say Graham Bonnet.
That's
I'd probably have to
interesting.
say Graham Bonnet. Just a strong singer, super strong singer.
That's
one
only
of my
because you haven't heard me sing.
Well, one of my favorite all-time singers, and I have to throw this out there, is a guy by the name of Kelly Sundown Carpenter, which is absolutely fantastic. If you haven't ever heard of this singer before, he sang with Adagio, he sang with Darkology, he sang with numerous bands, but this is, to me, the top of the food chain as far as what we do at this particular time. My friends in Three Trimmers as well, Sean Peck and Harry from Jag Panzer and Tim River Owens and they have a new record out too. So this is the future of metal, you know. It's the natural progression that they do within their career. You know, they've come this far, and we're at the pinnacle this particular time. You know, with what I do. Within my realm of songwriting and band stuff, to me, this is what my best.
Yeah.
My best within my career is what's happening right now.
Awesome.
Very
I'm
cool.
glad you feel that
Very
way, man.
cool.
It's fantastic. Well, Wade, thanks so much for making this a Wade Black Tuesday for us.
It's
Thank you.
my pleasure.
It was
I'll be
wonderful.
back again. I'm not too far from these guys, so
Definitely.
you know, I'll pop in from time to time and I'll let you know what's going on. Super huge news for War of Thrones that's coming up here that I'll be able to release as soon as the mob says so. But
Well, cool. We'll have to have you back so you can tell
yeah,
everybody about
yeah,
it.
I'll be
let 'em
back
know,
again,
so.
man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Great.
Very
So
cool.
again, we had Rob DeLuca for part 1. Part 2's next week. We've got Steve Doc Wackles from Sabotage coming up the following week after that. As we mentioned, Rob and Ray from Spread Eagle sometime next year. Not sure exactly when yet, but they did say they'll come here and promote that album,
Yeah,
which
that'll
will be
happen.
fantastic. I've also talked to the Mountain King himself,
Mr.
and
John
we
Levy.
will. We're going to try to get John in here sometime in the very near future. He's
Nice.
out with TSO right now,
Nice.
and also Zach Stevens.
Nice.
He's out with TSO as
I
well.
actually recorded a crazy version of Jesus Christ Superstar with Zach.
Did you really?
Really.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah. So there's definitely a bunch of things that are floating around about that. They met
Very cool.
killer talents, man.
Yeah, Zach's a great guy. Yeah, so they've said that they'll come in and be a part of the show. So
Nice.
look for that in the near future, and we'll just keep trying to bring you guys awesome interviews and awesome guests and some performances and everything like that, and get you guys more and more involved as the show goes on. Thank you so much for watching. We
Absolutely,
appreciate you more than we could ever tell you, and we hope you like the show. And again, like Scott said, let us know what you did like about it, what you didn't like. You know, this is all about us taking ideas from various types of entertainment talk shows, whether it be late night television, Jimmy Fallon type stuff, along with that metal show, just trying to combine the best of the best in those ideas and just make something great. And something that also at the same time supports the local scene, and something where we interact with our viewers and stuff like that.
So yeah,
So-
You know,
it's a good thing.
And not to mention, I mean, again, you know, I can't reiterate enough. I mean, if you're a band and you're not signed, you got a great recording, you want people to hear it. Again, submit it to us.
Right.
Submit it to us. I mean, you're going to be able to get exposure here, you know, and obviously as the show builds, it's going to get better and better and better.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, we're very interested in helping out. Not just local bands. You can be anywhere in the United States or overseas for that matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're either good or you're not. I mean, it's just that
If
simple.
you can
And I
pass
mean,
if you can pass the panel, then maybe if your band's good enough, I'll grab it and I'll try to solicit to some record labels and stuff. Maybe I'll come and produce your record. Maybe you know, help you become famous.
He's trying to sweep.
You heard it yourself out of his mouth.
and it's
Okay, wait, I don't know about that laugh.
it's taped. It's etched in stone. Seriously,
We
my
have that
gosh.
on tape.
He sounds kind of like Dawn.
so I mean, seriously, you know, again, our show. We'd like to thank everybody for watching. You know, I know
Tuning in.
it's a slow crawl, it's a slow roll, but we're gonna get there, and we're gonna,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, we're gonna do what we need to do, man. We're gonna have fun in the process. So,
Yeah.
again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know, next Tuesday we're going to be here again at 8 o'clock Eastern time.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep,
We're going to have
absolutely.
the second half of the interview with Rob DeLuca. Another thing just to keep in mind is when you're going to Facebook, you're going to see another poll. You know, we mentioned before, you know, about these music movies. We're going to end up doing this like every week, and then basically going to have like a battle royale of all the winners for that matter, and just you know.
Yeah, so give us your
package.
opinions. Make sure you vote on that stuff. And also, you know, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, go to our website. If you're, like Scott said, a band and want us to play your stuff and talk about you on the show, or even have you in here like we did with Wade, it's The Sound Effect.
And that's
Effect.
spelled with
That's
an A. How music affects you, how it makes you feel. All that
The
wonderful stuff.
soundeffectshow.com, where you can check everything out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a spectacular night. Again, Wade, thanks so much for being a part of
Thank
this.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Have a
Okay,
great
guys.
night. We'll see you
Have a
next
great
week.
night.
Make sure you tune in. Appreciate you.
Peace out.
Good job, guys. I like that.